because Bird was upset by Blake Borman of Purdue.
Yeah, and Borman did what you're supposed to do, right? They had a close match, 5-4 last time they wrestled. Bird, had him on the edges early, and you just saw Lucas Bird just not used to being in this territory, right? Big matches, he usually wins. But it was just such a great job by Borman, and you got to wrestle to win, Rick. You can't wrestle not to lose, and it looked like Lucas Bird did that, and Borman took advantage of the opportunity.
It's also a situation we just don't see where Lucas Bird was not the aggressor. He was playing defense for so much of this match, and Borman was able to take advantage. You look back at what took place at 157. Now, officially, the win by P.J. Duke over Brandon Cannon was an upset because Cannon spent most of the year ranked number 1. But it's been a long time, Alex, since he's been on the mat, and he looked rusty.
Yeah, and you got to give it to P.J. Duke. He got shell-shocked in that catcher-bone match earlier in this year, and he's just been lights out ever since. Obviously, you got to say Brandon Cannon hasn't wrestled in a while, his second match back, but Duke, oh man, was he awesome on the offense, man. He just took so many shots and finished them clean, and he looked like he was just at another level, Rick.
A 20-7 major decision, and as you and I were discussing before we started the show, sometimes a sport needs a guy who can be a little bit of a villain, and he kind of brings that attitude to Penn State and to all of college wrestling. At 65, of course, Mitchell Messenbrink is the massive favorite. But what an upset by Andrew Barbosa of Rutgers, who knocked off Joey Blaze. It was Blaze's first loss of the year.
Well, you have to wrestle. I said it earlier. You do have to show up and wrestle at the Big Ten tournament. You can't not wrestle. And look at Blaze. You see her on the edge. What are you doing? What do you have your heads in the mat? And great job by Barbosa. I mean, I have never seen that move. Some people are calling it switcheroo, spin around, but he did a great job wrestling the very end, and just Blaze got caught looking at the clock, and Barbosa took advantage of the opportunity.
An unbelievable technical move right there. Not just the athleticism to be able to do that, but the knowledge of where you were on the mat to keep the foot inside the circle and make sure that that takedown counted. Certainly that and the upset of Lucas Bird, kind of the two shocking moments early on Saturday. But we do have some things that we expected taking place, like 9 Penn State wrestlers making it to the semifinals, and almost all of them, save perhaps 1 or 2, are actually expected to be the favorites. So let's dive into some of the matches that we'll see on Saturday night in the semifinals, and we start at 133 with Marcus Blaze going up against the veteran from Iowa and Drake Ayala.
Yeah, and Drake Ayala, the Big Ten tournament hasn't been his best, right? You've seen it last year, you saw it the year before, but you know what? Here's a job to get a clean slate, right? It's your last year. You make the best of it. Marcus Blaze, wrestling phenomenal. We'll see what happens. I mean, the last match was close, so it's at Bryce Jordan Center. It's going to be tough for Ayala.
And Ben DeVino is on the other half of that bracket, a guy that for Ohio State has been absolutely unbelievable this year. At 57, we just talked about P.J. Duke and how dominant he's been since the middle of the season. He takes on Cannon Webster in the bottom half of a bracket that also includes top seed Antrell Taylor.
Well, this is the Cannon Webster tournament. We saw it last year at 149. Upsets Shane Van Ness. Obviously fell to Ridge Lovett in the finals, but he's been there before. P.J. Duke, wrestling phenomenal. So I think this is going to be a clash of fire and ice. Two different styles, like Cannon Webster likes to tie you up, slow the match down. We saw Duke, he just fires. So we'll see what happens at 157. I do expect Duke to get into the final.
I have a feeling that 74 on one half of that bracket, the upper half, where you find the number 1 seed Levi Haynes against another veteran in Carson Hartslaw, who, when he is healthy, has been a really dangerous out against any opponent he faces.
Yeah, and we've seen that, right? We saw the match at Ohio State. It was close. I mean, that's obviously a year ago, different year now. But Carson is one of the guys that Levi Haynes has a lot of trouble with. He's hard to wrestle. He stays in good position. He doesn't give up a lot of points. Does he have the offense? Is the real question. Levi Haynes, again, another Penn State guy that looks phenomenal. It's at Bryce Jordan Center. A lot of things going for him. So, again, 174 would come down. Can Hartslaw take him down?
The bottom half of that bracket's also entertaining because Pat Kennedy from Iowa and Nebraska's Chris Minto have both been absolute nails so far in this tournament. One of those two will advance to the finals on Sunday. And finally, at heavyweight, you start to laugh because I know how much you are looking forward to watching the match between Nick Feldman and the always entertaining AJ Ferrari.
Hey, if your last name's Ferrari, you know the means are rooting for you, man. He is just the villain. I love watching him wrestle, and he brings flair. He brings everything you want to wrestling. I know the antics not everybody's a fan of, but these two guys have gone 2 matches now, and Feldman has had his number, so we'll see. This is when it counts. I mean, obviously next week as well, but Again, if I had any match circled right now, it'd be 285.
And I know that these guys have some grudging respect for each other, but I put the emphasis on grudging because I don't think there's any love lost when Nick Feldman and AJ Ferrari step on the mat, perhaps adding to a little bit of drama. Of course, Michigan's Takedowns is the #1 seed in the heavyweight bracket. Time for us to stop talking and for them to start wrestling at the BJC. Our crew, Shane Sparks, Jim Gibbons, Tim Johnson, and Zach Mackey are on the call. Enjoy.
It's the nation's premier wrestling conference, the Big Ten, where tonight's 40 Big Ten Championship semifinals. As action continues here in Session 2, the Nittany Lions leading the way ahead of Ohio State and Nebraska. The Fighting Illini and the Hawkeyes currently locked up in 4th place. Hello and welcome to the Big Ten Championship semifinals. So glad to have you with us, Shane Sparks, alongside Tim Johnson, Jim Gibbons. We'll shortly hear from Zach Mackey. Tim, let's start with you. Talk about the expected and the unexpected. One thing that was expected was Penn State showing up. That's been the case.
Well, sooner or later in wrestling, the mat tells the truth. Looks close at the top. Penn State at the top. Ohio State, Nebraska pushing for tonight. But the mat's already started talking. Penn State has 9 in the semifinals, and with this arena and the roar of this crowd, Penn State's ready to take control.
I turn to you, Jim. The quarterfinals, again, as expected, lived up to the hype. What a round.
It really was. Nittany Lions won some exciting matches and some tight ones here. Led at 157 by P.J. Duke. He was able to beat Brandon Cannon, who was ranked #1 for a lot of the year, coming back from injury. But how about this? He put up a 20 spot on Cannon. Impressive performance by the freshman. And they also won some tight ones there. You see that Rocco Welch in a tiebreaker. He probably expected that type of action here between these two guys. Angelo Ferrari, quick escape right there, was able to go ahead and hold on at the end. They won it every possible way, the tight ones and the blowouts.
We bring in Zach Mackey with more on some of those upsets.
Yeah, no kidding, Shane. I mean, we said 133 pounds was must-watch TV, but we had no idea how much it was going to be flipped on its head. And that's exactly what Purdue's Blake Borman was able to do with a 7-3 victory over Lucas Bird earlier today in the quarterfinals. He gave the #1 ranked wrestler in the country his first loss in over a year, and that snapped a 29-match win streak. Right now, Borman's got some work to do. He's the lowest seeded wrestler to make the semis in any weight class here with the Big Ten Championships. Then we go to 165, where Andrew Barbosa of Rutgers, he was trailing till the final 12 seconds. He got a takedown after it went to challenge review over Joey Blaze. That gave Joey Blaze his first loss of the season, and Barbosa is looking to become the 4th Big Ten finalist in Rutgers history. But he's going to match up with Mikey Caliendo, and I talked to his head coach Scott Goodale there of Rutgers. He said, listen, he's a guy in Caliendo that gets to your legs, he shoots, and he shoots. How our counter, how we attack the counter is going to be most important. They're 165 pounds. But we kick it off at 125, Shane.
125 pounds, the #1 seed, ranked #1 in the nation, undefeated Luke Lillidahl for the Nittany Lions, and the Hoosier Jacob Moran. Jory Volk, an All-American 2 years ago, then at Wyoming, meets Nick Bouzakis, ranked 2nd in the nation. Bouzakis, just the one loss this season. That was to the Lillidahl in the dual meet mid-February here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. What a scene here inside the Bryce Jordan Center was just last month when they set an indoor attendance record with over 16,000 fans as they watched their Nittany Lions defeat Ohio State in a battle of undefeateds in a 1-2 showdown. And here we go. It is semifinal Saturday nights here in University Park, Pennsylvania. Luke Lillidahl, ranked #1. He was an All-American 3rd a season ago. And Jacob Moran, Jim, has been really impressive, wrestling well, putting points on the board.
Yeah, he has been. He's a really solid wrestler here, good defense, and he's going to need every bit of that here going against the offense of Lillidahl. One thing about Lillidahl, he runs to the corner about as well as anybody out there. I mean, good attacks, and he just seems to get better and better as the match goes on.
Nick Bouzakis and Jory Volk. Volk in his first season in Minnesota, Tim, and he's done well in that maroon singlet.
Yes, he has, and he puts up points, but he's going to have to weather the storm of the first period of Bouzakis. He's dangerous. He goes for the throat early.
Yeah, with that, we talked before about Buzakis here being a 133-pounder. He's challenged himself here to go ahead and be a 125-pounder.
Here's Lillidoll in on the legs, and the Nittany Lions strikes for 60 seconds in. Lightning Luke, 3-0.
Yeah, just great work there at that point in time, just going ahead and running around, scoring the points. I look for Buzakis to maybe even look for something big right here. Now a situation here where Volk has on the leg. Can he go ahead and switch off to the double and get his hips?
Jory Volk and Buzakis met at the national duels. It was Buzakis getting the win.
Yeah, and Jory Volk did the thing that he needed to do. Get out in front, get control, not get in trouble, as Jim was talking about. Now he's controlling the hips. Got a good ride on top.
Nick Buzakis, as Jim mentioned, coming down from 133. He's been spectacular for the Buckeyes at 125. Just that one loss to Lillidoll as Volk gives the escape. It is 3-1. Buzakis and Volk, they're on the right, 110 first period. Lillidoll the first takedown. And with another attack on a shelf single leg.
Yeah, right there on the edge of the mat, collects the far ankle.
Lillidoll, Jim, last year, phenomenal. His true freshman campaign, wins a Big Ten title, goes to Philly at the national tournament, takes third. What have you seen in his progression this season?
Well, I think he's just, you know, his temperament out there. I mean, he's gone through this whole season here, went through the freshman campaign right there, finishing third in the country. You know how difficult that can be. He used to walk into this season with a lot of confidence. He's done that here, and he just seems to be just enjoying himself, just another level here, and that just makes him that much more fresh. He's certainly a fan favorite here.
Jory Volk back in his home state. He's from Lakeville, Minnesota. Lakeville North High School, was a 4-time finalist, 3-time champ. He's up on Buzakis, 3-1, 25 to go. What has stood out to you, Tim, in that match?
Well, right now it's the control of Jory Volk. He has controlled the center. He's controlled the positions. He pulled the trigger when he had the tie that he wanted, and almost had a second takedown, but Buzakis did a nice job of rolling out of it. There, I like Buzakis getting in. Both these wrestlers are not afraid to put themselves in wrestling position, and let it fly a little bit. And now Buzakis in, but a little too late.
Here's Moran, final seconds of the first period.
Going to go ahead and running out of time, kind of late on that shot.
Lillidoll with a pair of takedowns, the #1 ranked 125-pounder in the country, up by 4. He's got the choice. Takes a quick peek at his corner, and he will defer. Moran goes underneath. Volk goes on bottom, leading it 3-1. Luke Lillidoll, originally from St. Charles, Missouri, began his high school career at Christian Brothers College, then went to Wyoming Seminary, where he captured a pair of prep national championships at Wyoming Seminary. Lillidoll and Buzakis were teammates at Wyoming Seminary for a season. Lillidoll, riding time over 60 seconds. Volk adds to his lead with the escape up 4-1.
Watch him knock Moran off of his quad pod stand-up right there. May just go ahead and let him up here. Feels confidence on his feet, but you know he can ride when he needs to. Lillidoll can. Looks good wrist wrestler and wrist rider there in that situation. And I like to watch the left hand of Luke Lillidoll. You know, it kind of guides me to where he's going. He's so quick, as we mentioned many times before. But I watch that left hand to see where he's going. It's the lead hand on a single lead, swing single. Also his high crotch to the other side. This takes you a lot of places. And there's that left hand going around that leg right there. That swing single he's so effective with.
Inside of a minute to go in the second period. Shin whizzer there for Moran. Lillidoll continues to work on a single leg finish. This weight class has 9 allocations to the national championship tournament, 2 weeks in Cleveland. As Lillidoll on the edge continues to work. And Volk, Tim, 4-1, 32nd second period.
Yeah, he has continued to come forward. He's continued to get the underhook, control the tie. All of a sudden now, he's working, going downhill a little bit, and that feels good for him.
Here's a shot from Volk. Buzakis looking to roll him through. But Buzakis unable to defend, another takedown, and Volk inside of 15 seconds, a huge takedown in short time, and a 7-1 lead.
Things are flowing for Volk right now.
Yeah, he did a great job of covering the hips in that situation. He did try to go up high up on the shoulders, get too much here, just covered the hips.
But one thing we know with Nick Bouzakis, he is a home run hitter. There might not be anybody at this weight class that can take you feet to back like Nick Bouzakis.
And to Jim's point, he's at a place now in March that he's capable in the third period where 3 months ago might not have been. You know, coming down from 33 to 25, he's done it right. He's been way more explosive through 7 minutes.
Lillidahl, scoreboard reads 6-3. Have an official review with Moran and Lillidahl.
Looking for that takedown. Yeah, Lillidahl was in on that leg there, the left leg of Moran, and came close to going ahead and getting those points, but
with more on this review, here's Zach Mackey.
It's a shame the call is upheld. They just went over. They did give 3 originally, and the officials were the one who wanted to go over and look at this. No challenge brick thrown here for the first match, but the officials, after looking at it, confirm it was a takedown.
Thank you, Zach. So that was a review by the officials, and they can look at video at any point. A challenge brick would not be counted against Penn State.
Jory Volk really having the match that he scripted, and he's doing such a nice job because as Bouzakis comes to his feet, tightens in with the hips, lifts, sags down. He's not allowing Bouzakis to get hips separated, any kind of dangerous roll.
Riding time for Jory Volk over a minute. Lillidahl with riding time over 60 seconds. Lillidahl and Jory Volk in control in their respective semifinals. Lillidahl with 3 takedowns, Volk with 2 takedowns as the Gopher up by 6. And he is 35 seconds away from handing Nick Bouzakis his second defeat of the season and avenging a loss to the Buckeye in mid-November.
Really impressive work by Jory Volk. Made it look rather easy.
Lillidahl 10-3. Down to 45 seconds. What a performance from Jory Volk. A couple of takedowns, riding time over 2 minutes. And Jory Volk of Minnesota is going to wrestle for a Big Ten title at 125 pounds. 8-1 with that riding time point. Domination from the Gopher.
It really was from start to finish. He kept position. He pulled the trigger early for the early takedown, and he dominated on the top.
Luke Lillidahl, for the second time in his career, will wrestle for a Big Ten title. With the riding time point, it's a major decision, 11-3. It's Lillidahl and Volk tomorrow for the Big Ten crown at 125. Luke Lillidahl, ranked number 1, remains undefeated. 133-pound bracket. It is our featured bracket. It's brought to you by Defense Soap. Defend what you have built. Marcus Blaze, the undefeated true freshman. And Drake Ayala, the 2-time national finalist. Ben DeVino and Blake Borman, the 10th seed. Borman knocked off undefeated, the reigning national champion Lucas Bird in the quarterfinals. Marcus Blaze, undefeated, the 4-time Ohio State champion from Perrysburg, Ohio. And Blake Borman knocking off Lucas Bird earlier today. Borman from Evansville, Indiana, won an Indiana State title. Ayala and Blaze met in the dual meets. Blaze, Jim, beat the Hawkeye 4-2 in mid-January.
yeah, it was a tight match, and you know, you take a look at these two guys, and you're going to go ahead and getting a good low stance here. Both athletes have a little slide-by technique, especially Ayala. He likes to go to that early in matches, drop down into a single leg. In that previous match, Ayala made a little bit of a rush there, and Blaze was able to hang on. So difficult to score on, and what's impressive about him is he just doesn't come out of that stance. He just gets elbows in, really low. And I can see that where Ayala is trying to match the height right now. He's doing a pretty good job in making a nice adjustment here, getting low himself. He's dropping down to a knee, but only to get into a good tie-up that he wants to have.
And Tim Bendavino scoring quickly.
First of 1,000 shots. He's the man of 1,000 shots in every match, and he's already shot successfully on that first shot coming around a fast 3. You are just not going to get away without having to fend off shot after shot. His attack rate is off the charts.
I think he's a pretty good finisher too, Tim. His ratio, once he gets on a leg, he ends up like a 90% finisher.
Drake Ayala, 2-time national finalist, fell to Richie Figueroa of Arizona State 2 years ago, then down at 125, and was defeated by Lucas Bird of Illinois in that 133-pound final last March in Philadelphia. Blazing Ayala, no score after 2 minutes. Jory Volk will wrestle for a Big Ten title at 125. He's with Zach.
One decision here for Jory. Jory, you're wrestling for a Big Ten title tomorrow. How's that sound?
Sounds awesome. It's actually what I came here to do, so yeah, sounds good.
You're bleeding. It was a tough match. How difficult was that match out there?
It was hard. That's a kid that he beat me back at the national duel, so his match coming into the tournament I knew I wanted, and I knew it was going to be a fight, and I went there, got a couple takedowns and a hard ride to put it away. So it was fun. I love those hard fought matches.
Best of luck at the finals tomorrow, Jory.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jory Volk will meet Luke Lillidahl. Bendavino, just the one loss on the season. That was in this arena mid-February against Marcus Blaze. And Davino, the 4-time state champion out of South Elgin, Illinois, St. Charles East High School, is exhausting the scoreboard, TJ. This guy is non-stop offense.
Yeah, he's devastating. His attacks have been devastating. It's a 4th takedown in the first period.
Taking him to his back that time, collects, looked like at least 3.
15-3 for Bendavino. Ayala and Blaze on your left, scoreless after 3 minutes. Joyce goes to Ayala. The Hawkeye takes a look into his corner and will go underneath to begin this second period.
That doesn't seem to be unusual for Blaze to have a scoreless first period. He goes out there and holds position throughout the course of the match, not ever backing up or backing out, but not always getting to his offense right away. But now in the top position here, he will try to make it difficult here for Ayala with a mat return, and see, go ahead and try to control Ayala.
You look at the 4 wrestlers right now on your screen. You have Blaze, a 4-time Ohio State champion. Davino, a 4-time Illinois State champion. Ayala out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, a 3-time Iowa State champion. Mentioned Borman won a state title at Indiana. 133 pounds, our featured bracket. Of course, big upset. Borman knocking off Lucas Bird, snapping Bird's 29-match win streak as Ayala's on the board with an escape.
Good quick escape right there. Nice little limp arm stand-up right there. Was able to get to his feet and end up making a nice turn, collecting the points. I don't think Blaze followed him as tough as he would normally. That's got to be a confidence builder here for Ayala, just to have this type of score right now. And, when you have that, get that escape, it's a great time to basically go out there and get on your offense, and see what, if Ayala can do that. The nice thing about what Blaze does, he doesn't push into you very much. Keeps that good low stance, and that slide by is going to be tough for Ayala to get. So he's got to go ahead and look at more of, head to the outside shots. Nice sweep single.
Inside of a minute, Ayala with the escape, early second period. The lone tally on the board. Another takedown for Davino, and he is on the hunt for a tech fall. He's got 55 seconds in the second period. He'll give the escape.
Hunt's the right word. He came across, lowered his level, and came with a double from space, and now he's looking to finish it off, and does. Wow.
Corrals both ankles. 21-5 a tech fall for Ben Navino, the true freshman. The young superstar for Ohio State cements his place in tomorrow's championship final at 133 pounds. Short time second period as Ayala and Blaze continue to wrestle neutral. Blaze will have choice in the third. Ayala down to a knee, now works up.
Ayala's been able to match him as far as the height. You saw it last time I think they wrestled. Ayala got a little high in his stance and Blaze was able to take advantage of it. Ayala competing well in this situation, and only 16 seconds of riding time for Blaze, so we'll see if Ayala tries to stay in the top position.
It is a packed house here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. Off the whistle, switching side, slides into half Nelson as Blaze works to his feet. Tight waist for the Hawkeye. And there's the quick escape, and this match is knotted at one apiece. What are you looking for, Jim, in this stage of the match?
I take a look at the elevation of both guys, and right now they're forehead to forehead. So who can be able to get a quick corner like that? Nice shuck there by Ayala. But you notice, I'm noticing Ayala a little bit lower in his stance right now, and it's making it difficult for Blaze to get his offense off. There's all the makings of a tight one coming down the stretch here.
Of course, the Iowa Hawkeyes, a national finalist every year since 1990. Can they keep that streak alive? If they do it, this might be the guy to do it in Drake Ayala. Back in 1990, they had two national champions, Terry and Tom Brands.
Heavy collar tied there by Ayala. Nice job of coming back inside with that left arm as Blaze. Again, both athletes not conceding anything as far as the height in their stance. They want to wrestle low.
They met in mid-January. It was Blaze 4-2. That was then. This is now. We're down to 45 in regulation.
This is the formula for Ayala. You don't want Blaze to get out in front. You don't want him. He gets out in front, you can't catch him. He has kept him here to, like Jim said, it's coming down. You have a chance at the end.
I think when he tried, Ayala, you want to hit that slide by and go right into that single leg. But, even when you get into Blaze's legs, he does such a great job of sprinting out and mule kicking here. And then when you follow him here, he cuts the corner on you.
Drake Ayala, the number 5 seed, ranked 9th in the nation. Blaze ranked 2nd. Lucas Bird came in ranked number 1. Final seconds in this third period. Each guy with an escape. Ayala and Blaze head to sudden victory. 2 minutes on the clock. Riding time is cleared. As both combatants toe the center of the Resolite. There's a look at Terry Brands. Ryan Morningstar in that picture as well. Quick shot there off the whistle from Ayala.
Counter shot there, fought out pretty well. There's a shock attempt, but boy, gosh, gets in that three-point stance and squares up as well as anybody in the country. You see what he did there? Put the left hand out there, got his feet moving and squared up on his stance.
Great footwork by both wrestlers.
This is such a weight class, not only in the Big Ten, but nationally. So many young hammers here at 133. Ayala, he's the veteran.
Blaze stealing that left-hand collar tie right there. He's working inside with that. Right there, steals that left-handed collar. Now comes to the underhook.
Iowa's last Big Ten champion, Real Woods. At 141, he beat Brock Hardy. Halfway through this sudden victory.
Mentioned the difference in the gap here. They couldn't have met in high school. One was in junior high.
Deep shot there from Marcus Blaze and the Nittany Lion in sudden victory, 4-1.
Just a beautiful shot.
Tomorrow night, it is Blaze Davino, Chapter 2. The Nittany Lions with Lillidahl at 125 and Marcus Blazer at 133. Deep shot.
Beautiful job coming off that left-handed collar into a left-handed high crotch there. Easy finish there for Blaze. Hard-fought win.
141 pounds, Jesse Mendez, the two-time national champion, is coming up next. Brock Hardy in front of his wife, pinning Vance Vombar to claim the Big Ten title. And it is again Hardy and Vombar tonight, this time in a semifinal. Top half of the bracket, Jesse Mendez, the two-time reigning national champion, and Nasir Bailey. They met at the national duels. It was 17-1 Jesse Mendez. Mendez undefeated this season in the conversation for the Dan Hodge Trophy, looking for his 100th victory in that Buckeye singlets. And Jim, he has been some kind of sensational.
Yeah, just basically driven, you know, his ability to come back last year after losing this tournament, winning the national title. And then now this season has just been dominant the whole time. And not just, you know, slightly dominant, really dominant. His attack rate is high. His timing on his shots has been almost picture perfect here. He has as easy a finishes as he possibly gets, and a lot of it's just knowing when to go.
Brock Hardy, a three-time All-American, fell to Mendez in the national final last March. Got out to a quick start, 5-0, but Mendez rallied back. Vance Vombar, a pair of 8th place finishes on his resume. So these guys, TJ, familiar with each other.
Yes, they are. And if Jesse Mendez is the best wrestler in the country, I think Hardy might be the guy that loves the sport the most. He shows joy. He has a lot of fun to watch. And then Van Bauer, oh my goodness, you're not going to get away without wrestling a full 7 minutes for this two-time All-American.
For Brock Hardy, wrestling is fun. Van Bauer, the Hurricane. This is the 5th meeting in their college careers. All 4 won by Hardy, as I mentioned most recently, that Big Ten final last March at Northwestern.
And if you're the guy that gave up the fall last year in the finals, your attitude is, you know, maybe I'm not going to chase him this much here to get in those scramble situations, give up that big move early. I want to make this match look a little bit different or feel a little bit different from my opponent.
Mendez and Bailey, no score midway through the first period, as Mendez using that underhook to take territory on the Resolite. Hardy, such a great scrambler.
And if you're going to beat a scrambler, be the scrambler. And Van Bauer is trying to come out the backside.
Both ankles are tied up there, now just one.
40 to go in a scoreless first period. Both these semifinal matches are at 141-0-0. And there is a stall call on Bailey. And that is a point for Mendez as Jesse quickly hustles back to the center. I mean, Jim, that's a dog on a bone.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, his attitude right now is taking territory, going forward, inside ties, getting Bailey to back up a little bit. Just bad visual.
Brock Hardy from Brigham City, Utah, 4-time Utah State champion. Cool moment for him. A few weeks back, got to wrestle back in Utah against Utah Valley. What a job Adam Hall's done there at Utah Valley. Some great dual meet crowds. Great for the sport. Jesse Mendez, Crown Point, Indiana, 4-time Indiana State champ, 157-1 in high school, and he's brought that success to Columbus.
Yeah, Bailey did a nice job of getting away from that single leg shot that Mendez has. So this has been a good period for Bailey. In held position for most of it, gave up just the 1 point and the stall warning.
Hardy and Vombar to the second period. The Gopher goes on bottom. Final seconds, the first period in the book. Mendez, 1-0.
Really nice job by Vombar coming out, scoring the first point. A guy that has had problems putting himself in bad positions last year, got pinned. Pretty good start for Vombar against Hardy.
Yeah, just trying to dial it back a little bit. Just, you know, Hardy is so dangerous there with his scrambles. You got to know, you got to be sure that you're going to be able to get what you want in that position and don't chase things wildly. Because a lot of times Hardy will let you in on those legs, just so go ahead, you know, cuts the corner defensively as well as anybody in the country, and then hits cradles.
Mendez had a leg in. Now showing an optional start.
And talking about cutting the corner. Van Bauer coming up, but here's Hardy doing a Hardy thing, and he's got it locked.
He's got that cradle locked once again. Brock Hardy looking for a fall in the berth in the championship final, going to readjust. Can he do it again on Vombar? Vombar able to break the grip, but that is how Brock Hardy strikes. He's like a rattlesnake with that cradle.
Is the exact same position. He's really good at reaching in there like a switch and then locking up. Give credit to Von Bauer for kicking his way out of there.
Von Bauer gets the quick escape in the period, then Hardy with a takedown and 3 near fall. And the Cornhusker leads it 6-1. What's it like, Jim? You alluded to it a little bit earlier. When you're wrestling a guy like Brock Hardy, just knowing when to attack, when not to, that fear factor of knowing how dangerous he is. He's the mousetrap.
Yeah, I tell you what's interesting to me is that there was a point in there where Von Bauer just basically tried to get his head away from his knee. He knew the cradle was coming, but then when he tried to square up a little bit there, the head came back to the knee, and that's when the cradle was slapped on.
1-1 with a minute remaining, second period there on your left with Mendez and Bailey. Championship semifinals in the nation's premier wrestling conference. What a night. What a day it's been. Shot there from Mendez. Good sprawl from Bailey. Mendez up 2-1. Looking for his 100th career victory. Mendez on a double leg, plants the Hawkeye down for 3.
Nice job of elevating that bottom knee. You know, he had Bailey on his right hip right there. So what did he do to make sure he's going to get the takedown here? He dropped down to the knee, elevated that, got it about a foot off the ground, and good work.
Brock Hardy, so dangerous. Here's the cradle.
Yeah, he gets the cradle locked up, and before this, you could see where Von Bauer was trying to stay out of it. He knew it was coming, but you know, just the wrestling position took him back to getting his head close to his knee again. And normally, he's going to plant most guys in that situation. Good job of Von Bauer getting off his back.
Jesse Mendez ranked #1, the Big Ten with 9 #1 ranked guys in 10 weight classes. Another score there for Brock Hardy on the reversal. And he's going to take riding time over 60 seconds.
Yeah, did a really nice job. He wasn't fooling around with an escape when he had the opportunity to get that reversal, which he did. On top again. Flowing for Hardy right now. He's so comfortable here. He's having a good time.
Hardy and Mendez wrestled twice this season at the national duels. Mendez beat the Cornhusker, then in the dual meet opened things up. Bonus point victory for Mendez.
And that's exactly what Mendez is hunting down right now in this situation. He chose neutral.
Jesse Mendez looking for bonus points.
Really working that head hard. Trying to get Nasir Bailey out of position. Inside collar tie. Now he drops back down on that shot. Comes back to head to outside single there. Let's see if he tries to finish it.
Mendez looking for his second takedown.
Yeah, 8-1. Gets it.
Mendez and Hardy, each with 8 points. As they are both closing in on another meeting between the two.
That's an underrated part of Hardy's game here, is his ability to go ahead and tack below the knee. You know, from his feet, he can go ahead and hit the low single as well as anybody. Nice single leg attempt there by Mendez.
There's a stall call on Bailey. That'll be 2 for Mendez. And this is what Mendez does. He just pours it on. Relentless.
Back up to his feet, kicks down. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of this was just set up by the high effort here in the first period.
Late scramble. There on your right. And Brock Hardy, once again, is back into the Big Ten Championship Finals. And Jesse Mendez, for the second time this season, a tech fall over Nasir Bailey as he racked up the points late. And Jesse Mendez has hit the century mark in a Buckeye singlet. Mendez and Hardy, familiar foes tomorrow for the crown at 141 pounds. 100 Asians. Lachlan McNeil, a 3-time All-American. Those honors achieved at North Carolina, his first season in Ann Arbor. Joseph Zargo and Ethan Stiles, bottom half of the brackets. Ethan Stiles, an All-American last year for Chris Pendleton at Oregon State. And Joe Zargo having a really solid season for Chris Bono and the Badgers.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I know you've been high on him all year, Zargo. He's one of those guys that, you know, you're starting to be able to really depend on him to be able to go ahead and give you maximum effort. Here's a good, solid, tough guy. I'll tell you what, Van Ness, how about that match in the quarterfinals? I mean, that was one of the Ryder Block match where Ryder Block from Iowa was able to go ahead and get a takedown and a ride out in that match. And sometimes you see that, Shane, where, you know, guys go out there, they're maybe not, he would have been probably better off to have one of those matches, but he had a bye in the first round, and then he goes out there against a guy who's already had a match. I've always felt that you're better than that second match. He didn't have that. He didn't quite have his mojo out there. And found a way, got basically 4 points worth of stall calls to win that match.
Ethan Styles going up against Zargo. I kind of look at Styles like the working class Hardy. He's not as dynamic, but he's chippy. He's got some funk. But my question here, we know Zargo's got a tank. My question is, can Styles keep the pace up for 7 minutes?
And Zargo beats Styles in the dual meet late January 7-4. Zach Mackey is with Brock Hardy, who again is in the Big Ten Finals.
That's right, back to the Big Ten Finals. Tell me, you had that cradle locked. It almost looked like the same exact thing from a season ago. Is that what you saw?
That is what I felt and what I saw. And, you know, Vance is an animal. And if I can get off the mat and not have to wrestle for 7 minutes, I'll be really happy. So I maybe got a little greedy trying to go for it.
You're back in the finals again, looking for back-to-back Big Ten championships. What's it going to take tomorrow night?
It's going to take everything. I got to beat the best in the world, Jesse Mendez. So, you know, my best product's got to be there.
Best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So much respect between Brock Hardy and Jesse Mendez, and they'll battle tomorrow. And earlier today, as you mentioned, Van Ness gave up the first takedown to Ryder Block. The case once again is the Wolverine takes the early lead.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit with the range that some of these guys have. I mean, Block is a big 149-pounder in the quarterfinals, and of course you got Lachlan McNeil here, long-rangey wrestler. And the nice thing about Van Ness, he does pour it on at the end, but he's been off to a lot of slow starts so far at times in the season.
In the dual meet on February 6th, Van Ness with the 9-1 major decision. This is the third meeting between the two. Van Ness has won the previous two encounters. No score with Zargo and Styles. 25 to go in the first. What stands out, TJ?
Well, right now, Styles keeping good position here, but Zargo's putting a lot of pressure like he always does, and he's just kind of building like a flywheel. He's not concerned if it's 0-0 right now. Pace is the most important thing for him.
Lachlan McNeil from Michigan is really working that head pretty well. Now he's in another crotch grip position. This is how he scored the first time here. Nice job by Van Ness coming back out of that. He's
got both
legs
ankles
tied up, and he's going to get it.
Second takedown of the period as he slides a leg in. Crossbody ride there from the Wolverine. 6-1. Of course, 15 seconds. The battle's within the battle. If you're McNeil, finish this period on top. Of course, conversely, Van Ness wants that escape.
Shane, he's just kind of catching him like a little bit out of water there right now, not out of his comfort zone. That was a shot by Van Ness. Fought off pretty well. Crotch lift, basically split the legs and came up and got the points.
Van Ness fell to Cannon Webster in the semifinals a year ago.
And this is the kind of guy that's been to the national tournament here, had high placings. This is not the kind of guy you want to give that type of lead to.
McNeil, a three-time All-American from Toronto, Ontario. He wrestled at Wyoming Seminary, national prep champion. Van Ness wrestled at Blair Academy, two-time prep national champion. Van Ness down by 5. But TJ, we've seen this several times from the Nittany Lion in his career. He's fallen behind, but he just finds a way to come back and get the win.
Yeah, he's got that in his pocket. He knows that's the type of wrestler he is. He has the ability to come back. Not every wrestler has that. He's
above the knee. The knee and above right there. So when you go low like that, that's what Lachlan McNeil, he has a great feel for that. Good scrambler.
Ohio State throwing the brick, so it's a coach's challenge.
And they felt Styles had the takedown.
Shane Van Ness, Jim, right back in this match.
Yeah, right back in that match with basically attack at the knee and finishing above the knee. So you got a guy that's going to roll around with you like that. Take a look at that.
Nice job by Styles. Comes in, watching go low, and then his left arm comes across, cuts back. Now they say he sits him down. He continues to drive through, sits him down right there. And so they're going to challenge that. That's not. They did not call that a takedown at that time. That's what they're challenging.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, he still had the ankle there.
Because a takedown was not scored.
Right. The takedown was not scored, but that's the challenge.
2-point match, a good one with McNeil and Van Ness.
Critical time in this match, though. 33 seconds left. You see that Van Ness has picked up his pace.
The takedown not awarded to Styles. He remains 1-0 lead over Zargo. Short time in the second period.
A lot of good hand fighting here by McNeil and Van Ness. Heavy collar tie. Looked like Van Ness is kind of finding some things here right there, working off the wrist, inside collar tie. Goes to the ankle pick.
This is setting up to be a great third period. 5 All-American honors combined between the two. McNeil goes on bottom. Riding time and on factor. I believe I just saw Van Ness show that optional start.
Styles doing a great job there of coming up with 3 late in the second period. He got in on that single leg and didn't let go like a dog on the bone you talked about. Kept dragging it in, was able to finish it.
Short time scoring. Big takedown for Styles to expand the lead. Those short time points are so big. There's Van Ness on a double leg. Switches off to a single. Makes the turn. And he's got McNeil in trouble.
Now there was a neutral danger call, looked like there, but it looks like he waved that off. He's going to collect it anyway.
He's got the takedown. This match is tied up at 8. We have seen this a handful of times from the Nittany Lion, ranked #1 in the country. He is undefeated. A pair of third-place finishes at the national tournaments.
It doesn't look like McNeil really wants to get that escape. You see him hanging in there.
Now 9-8. Van Ness on a single leg drives through. And he's got his first lead in this match. You hear the roar of the crowd, 11-9.
See that bottom leg hook right there? This is more like the Shane Van Ness we're used to seeing.
He was down 6-1, but just always stays poised. You said it, Tim. He's been here before. He had that in the back pocket. He's been here before. He's comfortable being uncomfortable. He is one cool cat. And Zargo has pulled it within 1.
Yes, and Styles does a nice job of dropping back in a couple of times in on the leg.
Action stop. Blood time there on the right. Shane Van Ness, ranked #1 in the country, remains undefeated. The comeback win. Another Nittany Lion will wrestle for a Big Ten title. 11-10. The Nittany Lion over the Wolverine.
Good match, both guys. Nice comeback by Van Ness. I think Lachlan McNeil learned some things about himself there.
The signature bow from Shane Van Ness, and he will do that regardless of if he wins or if he loses. Great sign of respect his opponents, and we are back at it in a 1-point match. Running time and on factor 4-3, 50 to go in regulation. Zargo has pulled it within 1.
We talked about Zargo's sprint. He's in the sprint now. Nice swing single.
Looking to beat Styles for the second time this season.
Styles really tough here with that shin wizard.
Good opportunity here for Zargo.
He should have got it.
Down to 25 seconds. And potentially dangerous whistled.
Well, there's going to be a breakage here because I think that the Wisconsin corner feels very strongly that Zargo's.
And there you see the challenge brick. challenge
pretty
from
strongly.
Wisconsin.
Nice job of anticipating that roll through by Zargo. He had him flat there for a while. Take a look at this. Nice swing single, as Tim mentioned. Right, gets to a good position, comes back up, elevates this leg in this position, posts on the hand, comes back, right, and anticipates the roll through. And right there, that's beyond reaction time.
So you believe that is 3?
I do, yeah, because the hands were separated right there. Then he came into it late, and he's on his back.
Another
supporting
angle.
points was there. So watch what happens here late.
I think it's going to be hard to turn over. I don't disagree with you. I think if they called it 3, it would remain.
Yeah, they got new information here. That's definitely, you see how long it took to slide those shoulders back into a roll-through situation? Classic example of you got more information to be able to make that call.
Dean Hamady, Wisconsin's last Big Ten champion. With more on Joe Zargo, Zach.
Shane, you know, Joe Zargo, it's closer than a home duel for Wisconsin right here. Originally from South River, New Jersey, just 3 hours outside. His parents never miss a duel. His brother's wrestling in the regional high school, trying to get here in time. He was just trying to get here, and they do the review, and it is no takedown going on here.
Jim, you don't like that call?
I really don't. You didn't give the benefit of the doubt to the guy that took the shot.
Exactly, taking the risk.
That's the best point of the night, right there. We have got to reward the aggressive wrestlers.
Beyond reaction time, 3 words that question a lot of wrestling fans.
Well, you just hit that situation. It takes a lot of time, and he didn't have a clean roll through. It was happening after the.
He had him planted.
Yeah, had him after he got behind the elbows. He was behind into the ankles right there. And
it will be the top 2 seeds at 149 pounds. Shane Van Ness, ranked number 1 in the country, and Ethan Stiles, the 2 seed, holds the number 6 ranking at 149. Nittany Lions and Buckeyes to collide at 149 pounds. All of Wrestling Big Ten champion. 157-pound chapter. The reigning national champion Antrell Taylor from Nebraska. Cameron Catchermone, exciting true freshman for the Wolverines. Cannon Webster and P.J. Duke battling bottom half of the bracket. Cannon Webster, a big semifinal win a season ago, knocked off Shane Van Ness. Ultimately fell to Rich Levin of Nebraska 1-0 in the Big Ten final. Antrell Taylor, Jim, rough time in Tulsa at the national duels, lost a couple times in one day, but this is back to being Antrell Taylor.
yeah, it really is. I mean, the guy that we saw win the national tournament there loves to go ahead and hit that underhook, little slide pass by here with the right-handed underhook. But I've been equally impressed with Catcherbone in his season so far. He's battled pretty well. Had a big match with P.J. Duke where he battled him all the way through. So these are really exciting young guys at this weight class.
And one of those showcase quarterfinals earlier today, P.J. Duke knocking off Brandon Cannon, number 1 ranked, and he put it on the Buckeye.
Yeah, so impressed with the true freshman. He is so disciplined. He does not take a bad shot. And Cannon Webster has to match that discipline tonight. Cannot take a bad shot on Duke or he'll make you pay.
Cannon Webster, 3-time Illinois state champion at Washington Community High School. P.J. Duke from Slate Hill, New York. Minisink Valley, 4-time New York state champion. Freestyle accolades. Abundant accolades.
There's that left-handed underhook that he just loves in this position here, coming back up into a bear hug. He's got to give it up.
Behind Webster, and the Nittany Lion leads it 3-0. Scoring the first takedown in the match. Taylor and Catcherbone remain 0-0. P.J. Duke last June winning Final X over Yanni Diakomahalis, the 4-time national champion from Cornell. I saw something on Twitter today, Yanni saying that he suffered an injury. He's one of the great guys, and we wish him the best. Big fan of Yanni Diakomahalis. Great perspective. He's awesome for the sport. Yanni, get better. We're thinking about you. Catcherbone from Buffalo, New York, Williamsville North High School, 4-time placer, 2-time champ, first champ in school history. Of course, his father, an All-American, wearing that maize and blue singlet. Here's Antrell Taylor on the edge, and the Cornhusker with just over 30 seconds puts 3 on the board.
It basically caught Catcherbone a little high in that situation, and it dropped it into a snatch single and switched off to the second leg right there, drove him off the mat. Yeah, he's also a guy, Shane, that you give him the lead with his ability in the top position, his ability to get out quickly, here, great defense. He's just built to win tough matches.
You look at Taylor this season, found a way to beat Charlie Millard of Minnesota. Tim, you called that match. We saw him, Jim, on the Big Ten Network knock-off Landon Robidoux of Oklahoma State in a tight one. He beat P.J. Duke right in this arena in a tight one. He's just a guy that finds a way, and he does it, Jim, consistently.
Yeah, he does, and it's just, he's got a style that can win those tight matches, and a lot of guys will be in those tight matches, but their style isn't necessarily conducive. He can ride, he can control the guy's hips in the top position, win those tiebreakers, good at getting out from underneath.
And he's conditioned, and the thing that I've noticed, and from a couple of years ago when he was at 165, he'd come down to 157. He's obviously done a nice job of weight management.
Good point.
Yeah, the Nebraska team has been really, they got rewarded for that in the seedings. They've been pretty much healthy all year, and they've wrestled a lot of competition.
Taylor from Millard, Nebraska. Millard South High School captured 3 Nebraska State crowns. He's up 3-0, short time in the first.
And we watched the national duel, Shane, where it's just they were shell-shocked. They raised the banner the week before, and they came to the national duels, and it was like, they went back Lincoln with their tail between their legs, but they always find a way to come back and part of their culture.
They wrestled, Nebraska, speaking of their dual meet schedule, they wrestled everybody, and a couple of times.
I want to say, TJ, there was an 8-day stretch. Don't quote me on this, but I think they had an 8-day stretch where they wrestled Iowa, Ohio State, and Penn State in an 8-day stretch.
Yeah, I don't need to quote you because it just went out to, the entire nation right there. So
I think I'm right. But
can we get that in quotes?
I think I'm right.
Yeah.
I often hesitate to say anything if I'm not 100%, but I feel confident enough to throw it out there. Taylor the takedown and the ride out to close the first period. As Catcherbone slides the boots in.
Yeah, this is a position for him that he can go get back in this match. He's good with the legs. He's also have a great wrist ride. Hits those bar arms, kind of an old school, near bar, far side half. Uses both sides.
Gonna stick with hashtag B1G Quad Box. Would love to get some reactions to some of the matches today or in these semifinals. Hashtag B1G Quad Box. My guess is there was some dancing going on in Minnesota with Jory Volk at 125.
Well, it's the reason they brought him there. He had a good career out at Wyoming, but he gets to come home, and you saw the interview there. He said, I came back to win a Big Ten championship, and now I have the opportunity.
We head to the third. Webster will go on bottom. He trails the true freshman Nittany Lion 4-1. Duke just the one loss this season. That was Antrell Taylor here. The Big Ten champion a season ago at this weight class, Tyler Kasak of Penn State, taking a redshirt season. Now a 4-2 match as Webster gets the quick escape in the third. Catcherbone, Jim, doing a solid job
in the
on
top position. Yeah, bringing himself back into this match. If he can get another mat return here and maybe collect a wrist, can be in business. But nice job hand fighting there by Antrell Taylor. Can he make a big turn? Cut back in. Seems to be some confusion there whether they went off the mat. There's a stall warning there on Catcherbone.
Last season, Taylor was 4th at these Big Ten championships before heading to Philly and capturing the national title as a 3 seed as a redshirt freshman in 2024. He was 8th at the national tournament. A 2-time All-American, Antrell Taylor.
Good quick escape by Taylor, making the nice turn. Now in this situation, Catcherbone, it's really up to him with 50 seconds left in the second period to get back in this match, do something with the feet. Good motion by Antrell Taylor. He likes, again, like I said before, he likes that right-handed underhook. If he can go ahead and get that right-handed underhook, that's a great job of throwing that by.
P.J. Duke 30 seconds away from a win.
Yeah, and Webster has the opportunity here, but he just cannot find the angle. He's trying to work the head there. Look just for an opening to be able to pull the trigger, but P.J. Duke just defending the logo there so well.
Penn State with 9 semifinalists. A young team. Only Levi Haynes graduates. We'll see Haynes at 174 looking for his 4th Big Ten title. And the true freshman, the New York native P.J. Duke, gives Penn State another finalist, 4-2 here at 157. Antrell Taylor gives the escape a 4-1 match, riding time and on factor. As you said, Jim, this is where Antrell Taylor is as solid as they come.
Yeah, he doesn't leave the logo. I mean, it is rare to see him get pushed out of bounds, and that's the other thing, too. He'll either do it with motion or just basically hang in there, but he does not leave the logo. Nice little low shot right there. Wasn't able to go ahead and switch to a double. Again, knowing where he is, you just don't want to make too big of a move here and find yourself out of position. Catcherbone dangerous.
Catcherbone coming up through the crotch of Taylor.
You slow down. That's what you try to do here. Just slow down. Try to create a little hip separation. Look to constantly improve.
Hip separation. Whatever happened to bringing the hips to the party, Jim?
That's with a lift.
It's party time.
Yeah, that's with a lift, okay? You've been around me long enough to know that that's not a bring the hips to the party situation. You've got to create a little hip separation and then make the turn.
Sometimes hips to the party on a Saturday night can be big trouble.
Tell you what, take a look at our guy Antrell Taylor here. Nice there. It's this right-handed underhook right there. That's how he gets to that single leg right there. That's his comfort zone.
Just over a half minute remaining. Catcherbone needs a takedown and a ride out to send this one a sudden victory.
Taylor's so comfortable right here, protecting. In his mind, he believes so strongly. There's nothing breaking through his defense right now.
Right? Antrell Taylor, you said it, Jimmy, stays right on that logo center of the Resolite, gets to the body in the final seconds and tacks on 3 more for good measure. 7-1 for Antrell Taylor. Exciting final setup for tomorrow. Again, Antrell Taylor and P.J. Duke. Duke's only lost this season to the Cornhusker Taylor. Looking forward to that battle at 157. 165 pounds, 2-time Big Ten champion, the 2-time reigning national champion Mitchell Messenbrink for Penn State. Andrew Sparks, the 5 seed, knocked off LJ Adauja of Nebraska in the quarters 3-1. Mikey Caliendo and Andrew Barbosa, the 7 seed, who handed the 2 seed Joey Blaze of Purdue his first loss of the season. Mitchell Messenbrink undefeated, 100% bonus rates. 2 guys with a lot of offense, Tim, and Messenbrink and Caliendo.
Yeah, they both have a lot of offense, and one has not been slowed down yet in his career, and that's what Caliendo's trying to figure out right now at Sparks' position. But it's hard because you're not used to it, even in the room, and the kind of attack rate of Messenbrink.
Quick score from Caliendo, the Hawkeye leading it 3-0. The 3-time All-American Mikey Caliendo fell to Messenbrink in the final a year ago at both the Big Tens and the national tournaments. Began his career at North Dakota State. He was an All-American, came to Iowa City. And he has just been fantastic.
Well, ever since that loss that he had to Joey Blaze, he just didn't look like himself in that match right there. Gave up 2 takedowns and possibly another one on the edge could have been called. He just didn't look like himself. But since that match, his attack rate has been off the charts, right? He's going out there trying to dominate guys. He's going to have to do that. Mitchell Messenbrink, he's so fascinating to me. I mean, it's special in a unique way. I mean, he is so comfortable wrestling with his head stuffed, and sometimes his head will bounce off the mat. He'll just like glide in like a stone bouncing off of water and coming back up into a scoring position. When it gets back up, I mean, just kind of a little ricochet up off and into the leg.
Been involved in the sport his entire life. Good scramble. Messenbrink looking to put 3 on the board on the edge. His father, John Messenbrink, longtime high school wrestling coach in Wisconsin. At Harlan Arrowhead High School, was the head coach of guys like Ben Askren, Max Askren, Purdue assistant coach Jake Soufflone.
I talk about it a lot, but Messenbrink not afraid to put himself in a wrestling position. What he's thinking is, even if I get taken down, I'll turn that into a reversal and back points. I just want to put myself there. But he never gets taken down. And so, he doesn't even have to worry about that, but he's not worried about it. That's the whole point.
Well, he doesn't waste time in situations where he's not going to be productive and score. He'll find a way to just dart back out and to kind of reshoot on you.
Darts back in once again.
Wrestles so well from position to position.
Another guy from
turn.
Harlan Arrowhead that did not wrestle for Coach Messenbrink was Keegan O'Toole. And here is Messenbrink, this time able to finish in a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, I love that turn right there that he made. A lot of guys will go ahead and try to scoop the bottom leg. He threatened with that and came right back into that with that little half Nelson type of technique. And this is where he'll grind on guys in this position. Sparks a highly conditioned athlete, a guy that goes out there and battles every time. So it's going to be difficult to wear him down.
Sparks, a 4-time national qualifier from Costa Mesa, California, won a state title in 2020 at Calvary Chapel High School. Began his career at 165. He spent 2024 at 174. And now at 165 last season and this season. Messenbrink with riding time at 45 seconds. That draws a stall call on Sparks underneath. First period comes to a close. Caliendo with a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, Barbosa keeping it close right now. He's not really threatened to score on Caliendo except for one time, and Caliendo came out nice defensively and gets an easy escape here.
Barbosa scoring a takedown in the final seconds to beat Blaze.
Oh, so fast. Caliendo, good hip action by Barbosa.
He switched that off from a double now to a single leg on the other side. I like watch him sit back, yank on that thigh right there, right at the hip. Sit him right back down and score points.
Second takedown of the match for the Hawkeye. Messenbrink, a takedown and a ride out over 60 seconds of riding time. The Nittany Lion goes on bottom. Barbosa, a redshirt freshman from Riverside, California, Palm Desert High School, 2-time state medalist.
Covering the fingers there, get your feet moving, gather the quick escape there for Messenbrink.
Caliendo riding time over a minute.
Nice job of ankle passing there, but Messenbrink kind of an expert in this situation. No points yet.
100% bonus rate this season. There is a stall call on the Scarlet Knight, Barbosa.
Sparks is competing here, guys.
He always does.
Yeah.
He grinds.
Well, that's
tough.
Certainly overmatched in this situation, but he's competing. There's the shot, head coming out through the back door.
Sparks draped over the back.
You want to go ahead and keep your left ankle free right there, and he does because he sat on it right there. As he rolls back through, collects the double leg.
What was most critical with that technique for Messenbrink?
Well, again, he came out the back door, but when he did that, he basically kept his shoelaces flat and made it difficult for Sparks to get an ankle pass. Right? You knew he was coming, so he ended up rolling his ankle back over, switching off to a double when they squared up.
Big Ten championships a couple years back. Messenbrink fell behind to Dean Hamady. Found a way to win. That was at Maryland a couple of years ago, one of the more exciting Big Ten finals I've ever seen.
That was a match where it just seemed like the door just closed. I mean, Dean Hamady was dominating that match.
Hamady was the reigning Big Ten champ.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, you know, he gives up an escape like late in the second period, and the whole match changes. Gets a takedown and back points. Short time left in the second period, and then the rout was on.
Caliendo working a solid coffee grinder there on the right, up by 5. And now it's a 4-point match, 7-3. Does have that riding time over 90 seconds. And Messenbrink, as he did in the first, finishes the period on top with riding time over 2 minutes. Messenbrink's only college loss in the national final 2 years ago, a 1-point defeat to David Carr of Iowa State.
Caliendo's performance has been surgical, and he's done a really nice job of executing, looking in for his third takedown of the match. But Barbosa has been tough defensively, but can't match the technique of the veteran. Slams him back down to the hips, that third takedown.
Messenbrink now hunting for bonus points in this situation. Drop bang back again. Anticipates Sparks trying to attack his angles. He's able to go ahead, hide him, and there's 2 takedowns.
Like Jesse Mendez, these guys able to find another gear in the third period. 13-3. Expect a fast and furious flurry for Messenbrink to close this match out. Dives right back in on the legs. Sparks able to neutralize him by holding on to the ankles. That draws a stalemate back to the center, 110.
But he's as good as anybody at hiding those ankles once he gets in on the shot.
Messenbrink and Caliendo have wrestled a handful of times. Messenbrink victorious in every matchup. They appear destined to wrestle for the Big Ten title as they did a year ago. With that 3-point takedown, guys like Messenbrink can open up matches in a hurry.
There it is one more time.
A takedown would give him the 10th fall. And Messenbrink now may get the fall, but Sparks able to roll through.
Love that turn back in to the chest.
And there is the takedown for Messenbrink. He gets the tech fall. Caliendo, the Hawkeye, gets his arm raised on your right. Messenbrink and Caliendo for all the marbles tomorrow at 165. An electric Bryce Jordan Center. Semifinals on this Saturday night. Messenbrink gives the Nittany Lions another Big Ten finalists.
What?
At 174, it's Christopher Minto and Patrick Kennedy, the Hawkeye. One in the dual meets. They'll battle again next here on the Big Ten Network. Matt returns. Slaps of the Wrestleites. Wrestling for that Big Ten Championship Team trophy and 10 individual championship belts. As we turn the page to 174 pounds, the 3-time Big Ten champion Levi Haines, Carson Hartzler of Ohio State, he's an All-American, Kennedy and Minto, bottom half of the brackets. Levi Haines in the dual meet last season had to come back to meet Hartzler, knocked off the Buckeyes 6-4. Patrick Kennedy on January 23rd in the tiebreakers, defeating Minto in Lincoln 2-1.
That was a war, too. Those guys really went at it. Patrick Kennedy, as you've mentioned, the rusty old pickup truck that goes out there. And
the engine starts all the time. It might take 1 or 2 tries, but it always turns over. That is a pickup truck built to do the work. Exactly, never floods. Slide by attempt there from Minto. Minto drops below the knee on a single leg.
Oh, he missed the far ankle right there on that roll through. He didn't really expect that from Kennedy here, but he does a really good job of it here. And now probably the best that Minto can get out of this is a stalemate.
Yeah, Kennedy has had trouble scrambling before, but the last time against Minto, he did not. I mean, and so he's showing right there that he can when he has to. But he's hard to kill, Kennedy.
Levi Haines, 3-time All-American, 2-time national finalist at 157, won the 157-pound chip 2 years ago, beat Ja'Cory Teamer, then of Arizona State. Was third a year ago in Philly, looking for his 4th Big Ten title. From Arntsville, Pennsylvania. Harchla from Powell, Ohio, 2-time champ at Olentangy Liberty. 3-time national qualifier and All-American in 2022. They are scoreless, 60 seconds in. They're on your left. Kennedy from Minnesota, 4-time Minnesota State champion at Casson-Bannerville, part of some team titles. And he's been a great teammate and leader at Iowa City.
Well, he has, and he is his activity level doesn't just happen out here on the mat. I'm sure it happens every day in the room, and he continues to lead because he's had adversity. He hasn't always been the man, and but Iowa City's been where he's planted and bloomed.
In 2023, was a Big Ten finalist, fell to Dean Hamity. Then down at 165, got on the stand last March. An All-American. 4 guys with All-American accolades on their resume. Scrap it here in these 174-pound semifinals.
And Harchla's been on that leg a couple times here. He hasn't been able to come out the back door. Haynes doing a nice job of feeding him some hips right here, keeping his head down and get the stalemate. You know, all throughout Carson Harchla's career, it seems like he's had just, you know, those tough matches against some of the best wrestlers. I remember several moons ago here when he was with that match in the Nationals with Keegan O'Toole in the quarters. I mean, it was just razor close matches with really good wrestlers. He just hasn't got over the hump yet. This would be a big win in his career to beat Levi Haines, a returning national champion in this venue.
All 4 of these guys have wrestled multiple weight classes during the course of their careers. Minto and Kennedy, no score after 3 minutes. It is short time with Harchla and Haynes in a scoreless contest. Cornhusker Minto goes on bottom. Minto from Cape Coral, Florida, Mariner High School. Final seconds in this first period. Levi Haines looking for 3. He drives through and time expires. 0-0 after 1.
That was close. But I think you're right, Shane, that time had expired. Beautiful looking little single leg here attempt. All right. Shin wizard there by Harchla. Goes 2-on-1 with it, dives across, but by that time you can see the young man with the hands out like that. He's letting the official know how much time's left. He's counting it down right in that situation. And as I look at his beard, it's a little bit gray, so he's not as young as I think he was.
And Christopher Minto in the second period with an escape and a takedown, now looking for a roll-through tilt.
Yeah, he did a really nice job of getting in on the leg and then coming up and anticipating mostly Patrick Kennedy's roll through and was able to then come out on top for the 3 points. Now looking with that cross wrist tilt. If nothing else, it's take the starch out of your ride.
Absolutely, keeping Kennedy flat on his belly. Loads up once again, rolls him through. Riding time now at 30 seconds for Minto in what has been a very productive second period.
What you want to try to do with that cross wrist tilt, you want to get that lower on the body right there. Now he's got a rebar tilt right there where he's got the wrist and he's looking for the chicken wing on that far side. A little bit more control with that technique.
Short time in the second period. And there is a stall call on the Hawkeye. Haynes on the board with an escape, 1-0 over Harchla. Christopher Minto looking for some near fall points late. He gets a swipe a couple of times, so no near fall, but Minto in that second period, an escape, a takedown, riding time over a minute, a stall call on Kennedy. He's in the driver's seat. heading into the third.
And Harshala's in this position one more time here with that single leg, but you know, Haynes doesn't really give you much there.
How can you finish if you're Harshla?
You got to get a little bit quicker there, a little bit quicker shot, I guess, that they get a little bit better angle. But the thing you're confident about is if you get in there, you're not going to get scored on. Okay, Harshala's that, you know, got offensive and got to the leg, and you know, sometimes it might take 3 or 4 attempts to get there, but you don't want to do is get more shallow with your shots. You want to deeply penetrate every time you go into it, explode into it. Sometimes later on in the matches get a little bit less. Oh, this is a great situation here for Haynes. Can he scoop that leg? He just did. Gets his head out, he scores.
Levi Haynes in short time inside a 15-second second period, now 4-0.
Hartzler had done such a nice job of not allowing Haynes' hand fighting to affect that he just couldn't stop. The hand fighting set all of that up, and Haynes was able to complete that takedown.
Patrick Kennedy gets a quick escape. That was big as we saw Minto control him in the top position in that second period. Critical escape for Patrick Kennedy. The Hawkeye, a takedown away from tying it up, but Minto does have that riding time. Minto was an All-American last year at 165 after a 8th place finish.
But he looks all of this weight class. Minto's grown into that weight class nicely.
At the national tournament for Minto last year, an All-American. Nebraska at 8 as a team, taking second at the national tournament to Penn State. You know this one on the right is far from over. This is going to be physical. 1:15 remaining in the third.
Minto not afraid to hit that swing single. Did it one more time. Now a counter shot here by Kennedy.
Hawkeye with the single leg, but crunched underneath the Cornhusker.
Yeah, I've been surprised at how much Minto has been able to, you know, get on his offense and get to a leg. Now a crotch lift position, a perfect time burner for Minto. And this is the part we talked about with Levi Haynes earlier here. So tough in the top position. And when he wants to go ahead and grind guys down and wear them down, he's back to old school riding.
Penn State, so good on their feet, well documented, but extremely tough in the top position as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're one of the best of using their entire body. With Matt returns on top, they're smothering.
Here's Patrick Kennedy looking to tie this match up.
An ankle pass situation for
Riding
Minto.
time is a factor right now.
Minto might get this.
Christopher Minto now has riding time locked up. Minto and Haynes had a really good battle here inside the Bryce Jordan Center this season. Levi Haynes, 2 minutes of riding time, and the Nittany Lion tomorrow will wrestle for his 4th Big Ten title. He's got the 5-0 decision over Harshla. And Levi Haynes will collide once again with Christopher Minto, the Cornhusker, over Kennedy. 5-1, avenging an earlier season loss to the Hawkeye. Resolites, 184 pounds. What a bracket. Rocco Welsh defeated Angelo Ferrari for the second time this season in the quarters. He's undefeated, ranked #1 in the country. He'll square off against Brock Mantanona of Michigan. Salas Allred for Nebraska. Max McAnally for the Gophers. Rocco Welsh defeated Mantanona 8-1 in the dual meet back in early February. And McAnally has defeated Alres twice in his career, most recently 4-1 in mid-January. That was in sudden victory.
Of course it was. This weight class, if you predicted 4-1 sudden victory, you'd win a bit of money for the top.
And we are going to have a forfeit Max McAnally, for the second time in his young career, will battle for Big Ten gold. He fell to Carter Starocci in sudden victory last March at Northwestern. And he will get the winner of Welsh and Manzanona. Manzanona with the first takedown, 45 seconds in.
Did a great job with that little scramble situation. Now Welsh trying to lift up on Manzanona. These guys, these Manzanona brothers here, they just give you a different feel. Their range, height,
Chippy. You know, they got a little chip on their shoulder. It just makes them better. Coming from that Palm Desert, same Barbosa. There's a good group of guys down there. Matt Nona's dad have a club there, developing some really great wrestlers.
Good defense for Manzanona.
Welsh in a position to be able to go ahead and square up. Left that leg behind, trying to scoop it. Manzanona coming out the back door and go off the mat.
Christopher Minto gives the Cornhuskers another Big Ten finalist. He's standing by with Zach Mackey.
That's right, a hard-fought victory back and forth. How you feeling after that one?
Pretty good. I think I probably shouldn't have backed up as much at the end, but I mean, I had to get the win and survive in advance.
You're advancing to the Big Ten championship against Levi Haynes. What's going to be the critical key tomorrow?
Just wrestle like myself and just be confident going in, and I'm just really excited and grateful to be there. It's going to be a good one.
Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Christopher Minto in that dual meet against Levi Haynes was out in front of the Nittany Lion. Levi Haynes had to score late to get the win. That match got a little bit chippy. Looking forward to watching those two lock horns once again tomorrow.
Inside collar ties there by Manzanona. He's been able to go ahead and keep Rocco Welsh at bay. Shoulder block in there. So unique with his roll through scrambles, how he turns into his opponents there, looking for reversal and back points. You know, he's straight on shot there, switch off to a single. Rocco Welsh, as they go off to the side right there, as they get in a position where Manzanona trying to cut the corner there, puts himself in jeopardy. That left knee is really twisted out there pretty well, and Angel Rivera is going to call a
potentially dangerous.
Yeah, going to stop the match there.
Rocco Welsh in his first season with the Nittany Lions 2 years ago at Ohio State, made the national finals. Fell to Carter Starocci. Going off of memory, won 2 or 3 really tight matches, and here inside of 20 seconds, Rocco Welsh looking for a takedown in his first lead. Here's a single leg on that Nittany Lion logo. Down to 10 seconds, short time in the first.
Good fight by Manzanona.
Great fight from the Wolverine. Huge situation in this match as they drift towards the edge. Great flexibility, keeps it 3-1.
Great work there, because it looked like Welsh was in great position here, but Manzanona's been in this match. I mean, just take a look at this takedown situation where he's able to come out the back door. Again, just like we saw with Messabrick, hiding the ankles right there, making the big turn. As he comes through, slides back out, gets a little bit more leverage with his leg to be able to go ahead and break that grip on that ankle. Really well done. Gave him the lead.
Manzanona U17 Freestyle World Bronze in 2023, 2-time Fargo finalist. Dave Schul's High School Excellence Award winner in California. And with that escape by Welsh, it's a 1-point match.
You know, again, when you've got a guy that like Manzanona that will, you know, if you attack below his knees, he's going to be halfway around behind you here before you get an opportunity to be able to kind of come off your low single. So I like, you know, at this situation, getting your athlete to adjust. There's a shot attempt there. Manzanona, he drops down. Welsh has cut the corner on him there. Got a pretty good crotch lift. Key here for Manzanona. Can he get some elevation? Can he shove that leg?
Rocco Welsh so powerful with his hips.
He's got the bottom leg hooked right there. That's really key. Now you go back to the grip.
He's got the 3-point takedown. Welsh takes the lead 5-3 inside of 50 seconds to go in this second period.
that's the thing with big matches like this. You're out there wrestling. A lot of things that may have worked here before are not going to work against these quality opponents right now, and you find yourself in a position where you kind of made it worse. As far as the scramble position here for Mantanona, Welsh able to take advantage of it.
Welsh with inside wrist, thigh pry, the inside ankle scooped up as Mantanona tries to work up inside of 30 seconds in the second period. Welsh from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, two-time champ at Waynesburg Central.
Big 15 seconds here.
Good return from the Nittany Lion. Looking
Nice
to chase
job
the hips.
by Mantanona.
Squares up the hips and gets the escape.
Threaded that right elbow through and came back with the right-handed underhook with it. That was really well done. Critical.
Big escape from the Wolverine, late second period.
And now he can get an escape again to tie it. Riding time in favor of Welsh. So
At 37 seconds, big situation here off the whistle. Get a look at Cale Sanderson, who's guided the Nittany Lions to 12 national titles. 12 of the last 14, the favorites to do it again here in 2026 as the Big Ten is a conference fighting for its 19th straight NCAA team championship. And this one is 5-5.
good sit out there. Again, buried his elbows there and close to his hips. Was able to go ahead and make the turn, get the quick escape. You know, that match with Angelo Ferrari, even though it wasn't necessarily a real physical match because there wasn't really a lot of scrambles or anything like that, there was high tension in that match the whole time. And sometimes those are even more tougher to recover from than a real physical bout.
Really good point.
There's not an ounce of fear in either of these wrestlers, and it's just a matter of executing when you're tired and who's going to be able to do it.
Mentioned earlier, Welsh won 8-1 back on February 6th. But in the Big Ten, the rent is due every day.
I'm looking for Welsh to basically, again, try to attack above the knee and above. Try to attack those hips. Again, if you go low, you got the possibility of Mantanona, coming back over the top of you, angle passing. Really difficult to beat right there. Now counter shot there by Mantanona. Boy, he's wrestling well.
But into those hips of Rocco Welsh. Those are like cinder blocks. So much power. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You talk about dropping the hammer. It's one thing to get to the legs, the hips of Rocco Welsh. I mean, remember earlier against Ferrari, the Hawkeye had him up in the air twice. Couldn't finish.
Yeah, you look at the ink there, the way that Ferrari and Welsh and now these two, it's real artistry, the entire, whether it's offense or defense, because that was incredible by Ferrari, and it was an incredible defense by Welsh. Great art out there, and just wonderful competition.
I don't have the analytics in front of me, but I'd be real curious to know what Rocco Welsh's record is in one-point matches.
Pretty good.
Here we go, set in victory. 2 minutes on the clock, riding time erased, of course. Welsh, ranked #1 in the country, undefeated in his second overtime match of the day. There's a shot from Welsh. Single leg shin whizzer defense there from Mantanona. The Wolverine looking to make the turn. He rolls. Welsh anticipates, and he wins at 8-5 and set in victory. Welsh into the Big Ten final at 184. It'll be Welsh and McAnally. Make sure to have your seatbelt on. That will be a phenomenal final tomorrow. Holy smokes! How can you not love this? How can you not love this?
Take a look at this.
In another hard-fought match, Welsh finds a way.
Yeah, basically attacked at the knees that time. This time able to get up, right? Anticipates the roll through, as you mentioned. See how he stiff-armed that shoulder out there and then able to climb the hips up there, scores.
Casey Cunningham and Cale Sanderson in the corner. Josh Barr ranked #1 in the country. He's undefeated. 197 pounds. Josh Barr for the Nittany Lions. Luke Geog toes the opposite line for Ohio State. Wyatt Ingham has been impressive for the Badgers after that major decision over Remy Cotton. He gets the number 2 seed All-American Camden McDaniel of Nebraska. Josh Barr, a point-scoring machine. I said it earlier. Pace, 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 and pace for Josh Barr.
Yeah, he does have it. He's also an excellent finisher. You know, it's not just the, you can take a lot of shots, but his timing is good. He gets to the leg. He's got a great little cut double.
All set up by his heavy hands and his snaps.
Just like seen in his career, he can put up points in a hurry, and he puts them up in bunches.
Right there, measuring his stance with that right hand, trying to stay low.
Barr from Davison, Michigan, 4-time individual state champion, part of 3 team state titles. A national finalist last March, fell to Stephen Buchanan of Iowa in that 197-pound NCAA championship. Camden McDaniel had a great NCAA tournament to get on the podium.
Well, and he's right back at it. I mean, he is a guy that they said, what do you mean he was an All-American? You know, he was a freshman last year and became an All-American, part of that Nebraska wave, but he's every bit of that talent, and he's just going to keep getting better and better.
When I looked over there and saw Camden McDaniel win that 7th-place match, or that round of 12 match, I go, boy, they're having one heck of a tournament. Look at this guy.
He placed 8th. He's from Circleville, Ohio, Thames Valley. 3-time finalist in Ohio, won a state title in 2023. He was 5th at the Big Tens, and then went to Philly on the podium, placing 8th. Geog and Barr, no score, 90 seconds into that contest. McDaniel and Ingham, 0-0. Wyatt Ingham, good-looking Badger. Ingham from Amory, Wisconsin, 2-time Wisconsin state champion. Coy Hopke, the Minnesota heavyweight from Amory as well. And Luke Geog, Upper Arlington, Ohio, wrestled at St. Edward. The Eagles. So much amazing history at St. Edward. Both these matches still scoreless.
Geog finding himself in this position. He likes this, not afraid to have his head stuffed in the front headlock position. He, pretty apt at a good carry. He's got a little near arm far leg type technique that he likes to use. And I watch Barr, look at that right hand. You know, he'll put that right hand on the mat here, gauging his stance right there. He'll go put that on it. That's going to keep him low. That's how he's not going to get up, and he really can do that all the way through the match. Keep that low position.
Josh Barr, 20 seconds left in this first period, pops his head out. He's got the double leg, hits the corner and scores the 3. Ingham and McDaniel, Tim, scoreless after the first period.
Right, and Ingham doing a nice job of keeping the center, keeping good position, and now getting himself an opportunity in the second period.
Josh Barr, that late takedown.
You mentioned the finish on the double leg here. Watch how he's able to go ahead inside, right? Dives back in there, all right? Comes out, both legs. Able to go ahead and clear his leg out there by sitting on his right hip and getting that ankle free here, using his left foot basically to clear his ankle free, and finishes the double.
Good replay. Our replay crew, Jack Housingay, Rachel Lombardo, and Jason Laplow, doing a great job staying busy. A lot of highlights, a lot of replays during these broadcasts as Josh Barr once again looking to finish on a double leg. Switches off to a single on the edge. Looking for a second takedown in the match, and he's got it, and he's up 7-0.
Yeah, it's just his ability to stay low but keep his head up, driving through.
McDaniel with an escape in the second. The Cornhusker, the lone score on the board.
Yes, and he was in on a single and had beaten the head, but now Ingham doing a really nice job. Looking like he could get 3 on the edge, but they go out of bounds. Really good effort by Ingham.
Really appreciate our sponsors here on the Big Ten Network. Mentioned St. Edward with Luke Giog. Defense Soap. Guys like Guy Seiko, Charlie Agazzino, Gus Seiko, heavily involved in the program there at St. Edward. Defense Soap. Jim, Tim, defend what you have built. Defense Soap. I love it. Every day. Use Defense Soap. The new citrus bar. I mean, I got to be honest, I kind of work up a little bit of a lather during these broadcasts. I mean, I need a shower and some Defense Soap. No doubt.
Yeah.
I was a little bit nervous. My luggage was lost for a little bit. It could have been an interesting weekend, but by the grace of God, the luggage showed up.
And your brother Brandon.
My brother Brandon, big thanks to him. It's a long story, but I owe him big time.
You do owe him big time because he got $2,000 offer to basically, you know, hustle your stuff.
He had a $2,000 offer to take a later flight, but I couldn't chance it. I needed the luggage.
Yeah, well, he needed the $2,000. He could have took his chance.
I bought him a Big Ten championship T-shirt today.
The $65 one?
45.
Oh, okay. Not the long sleeve.
It was long sleeve.
Okay.
45, not bad.
I got to talk to him.
He's a great brother. He came to the creamery with us yesterday. I got one brother. He's 22 months younger. My best friend. We fought like cats and dogs growing up, but
I can understand that.
Great to have him here.
And he's a great guy.
Josh Barr, 11-1. He has been the head of the class at 197 pounds. Hoping to make one more step and be atop the podium in Cleveland as a national champion. 3 more for McDaniel, and the Cornhusker now up by 6, 7-1.
Barr got a little aggressive there, trying to move into like a head and arm assassin move to go ahead and put Giog on his back. Giog popped right back in there on that head to the outside shot.
We've talked about it often with this sport. So great to spend time with your family around the sport. Of course, your daughter, Allie, now with Kyle Rochelle, the head coach at Chattanooga. I remember when I first started the Big Ten, Allie would help us out.
With me all the time.
Chasing down the athletes. Jim, your daughter, Grace, with her new husband, Christian, they're up in the box with my brother. I know you would appreciate that time with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so fun when you get to spend time with the people you love around this great sport.
Life's about
Nothing
relationship.
beats it, absolutely.
You know, and if it is, which I do believe it is, wrestling's the best place to build those relationships. America needs wrestling.
34 years ago tomorrow, March 8th, 1992, my dad took me to the Big Ten Championships. It was my first one in Madison, Wisconsin, as Barr tacks on 3 more. He passed away 8 years ago. And I'll never forget sitting there that day, and I knew at that time I want to broadcast the Big Ten Championships, and he would die if he got to see this. 34 years ago tomorrow, and the cool thing was, that day, Terry Brands won a Big Ten title. Tom Brands won a Big Ten title. Troy Steiner won a Big Ten title. Tom Ryan won a Big Ten title.
And
here we are 34 years later.
How do I know?
You called that.
That's right.
And here we are. I remember watching you guys growing up. I mean, the OGs of college wrestling. I got to be honest, if I would have had broadcasts with Tim and Jim on the bingo card, I'll sign off on that all day. Josh Barr, 17-3. He's got the riding time over 2 minutes. If he gets the ride out, it will be another tech fall for Josh Barr. And the scoreboard will crawl off the mat after trying to keep up again with the offense of Josh Barr. A tech fall, and the Nittany Lions have another Big Ten finalist. Barr remains undefeated. What a season for the Michigan native. I respect all these guys. I root for every single one of them, but Josh Barr is just a guy that's fun to watch because he scraps. Constantly putting pressure on his opponent, scoring points.
Yeah, he's making a case for Hodge Trophy.
100% he is.
Yeah.
Third on my list.
Mendez, Messenbrink, Barr.
There you go.
Okay.
Obviously arguable, but we all have our opinions. But, I mean, that's pretty high praise.
But any
Right
one of
there.
those guys
That's exactly
deserving.
right. That's exactly right.
The Nittany Lions 8 for 8 in the semifinals. Mirasola, the final Nittany Lion. He will get the #1 seed, Tay Gadali of Michigan. Earlier today, this is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do this. My right shoulder is a little bit cooked, but I found a way to get some added velocity.
Look at this.
Shoes are a little slippery right here. Watch this balance. Almost went over. Oh!
Yeah.
But look at that good recovery right there.
Look at him go.
Throwing T-shirts. That is #1, or one of the top things on my bucket list. I'm still hoping someday to throw at a first pitch at a baseball game. We'll see. And here's another attack there from McDaniel late in the match.
Yeah, he has been piling on, even with the breaks.
10-3, major decision for Camden McDaniel. It'll be a matchup of the top 2 seeds at 197, Barr and McDaniel. 285 pounds. You look at the brackets. The top 4 seeds, Gadali, Mirasola, Feldman, and Ferrari. Tay Gadali beat Mirasola on February 6th in the dual meet 5-1. And AJ Ferrari has a couple losses, or rather got confused there. AJ Ferrari has beaten Nick Feldman a couple of times this season.
Nick Feldman has beaten AJ Ferrari a couple times.
Waiting on AJ Ferrari.
Tough to beat a good wrestler 3 times. The same season, so.
Guys, I just want to reset this because I got to be honest, I don't remember exactly what I said. Let me just restate this. Nick Feldman is 2-0 this season against AJ Ferrari. Feldman has beaten Ferrari a couple of times. Most recently in the dual meets, 4-1 in sudden victory. And then at the national duels, it was 5-4. Just want to make sure I got that corrected. Gadali coming to Ann Arbor from Buies Creek, North Carolina, wrestled at Campbell, where he was a 4-time Southern Conference finalist, 3-time SoCon champion, 4-time national qualifier, 8th as an All-American in 2024.
I've seen a lot of improvement in Mirasola here the last 2 months. So his ability to go ahead and stay in these matches, he's a lighter heavyweight, Gadali basically trying to come out. Now these are the scrambles that he puts himself in right now, and now he's got an opportunity to step up. Gadali comes back into it, but good job of pulling that back in by Gadali. He collects the points.
The
Really well
Wolverine,
done.
halfway through the first period, puts 3 on the board. Team scores, scrolling across the bottom as you see the Nittany Lions pulling away, approaching 150 points. On a quest for their 4th straight Big Ten tournament team title.
Ankle pick there. But just the size of Gadali basically puts him in a great position. Again, one more time. Mirasola moving out to the edge there. They're going to go off the mat.
Gadali in his 7th year, Mirasola just a redshirt freshman.
And both of these wrestlers have improved, but Mirasola, he's improving just right out of the gates as a young wrestler. It's really impressive for Gadali, who's got 5 years that he's on top of it. But we talked about it earlier, the room that he's in with Mason Paris and in Michigan. He's just seasoned, and he's coming into his own, and there's just something about that old man strength, along with the improvement, that is really going to be hard to beat over the next couple of weeks.
A.J. Ferrari looking for his third conference title back in 2021. He won the Big 12s, of course, won the national title at 197 for Oklahoma State. Last year at Cal State Bakersfield, won the Pac-12 championship. And here he is in the semifinals of the Big Tens. Brother of Hawkeye Angelo Ferrari. Short time in the first, Ferrari and Feldman.
Straight single leg there by Ferrari. The first time they wrestled in the national duels, it was kind of a fluke situation where, you know, Feldman was on the edge of the mat, and Ferrari took a shot from space and just kind of like collided a little bit with him and just kind of fell straight flat down, almost like he hurt himself. And then Feldman was able to go ahead and go around behind him and collect the points. In the dual meet at Ohio State, Feldman was able to go ahead and get a single leg, you know, run him down a little bit, use that underhook to clear him off right there and score. So I guess, you know, you say that, well, those things didn't happen here, so that's a good thing for Ferrari.
Nick Feldman, a two-time NCAA qualifier and All-American in 2024. He was 5th. Last season lost in the blood round of Corryville, Pennsylvania. Melbourne Preppy, 3-time national preps champ. He's on bottom in the second period in a scoreless match. Ferrari really good in his top position. Gadali using that power against the young Nittany Lion, Mirasola.
You can see the thickness there of Gadali there from the hips down, big in the chest. I mean, he's probably about 40 pounds heavier, at least 35, 40 pounds heavier.
From 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly right, Jim. He has just stacked it on. He looks so good. And from in this control wrestling and folk style, it just really fits him. He's so good on top.
I was really impressed with him in the match. He wrestled Keeter and Carver Hawkeye, you know, adding to his lead in that situation, and put up about 10 or 12 points in that match.
Couple of goes for Ferrari in the second period, riding time at 23 seconds. Gadali from Warren, Michigan. Two-time placer and a state champion at Fitzgerald.
Mirasola trying to make this a grind. He does like to come heavy on that collar tie, left-handed collar tie right there, you know.
Ferrari on that single leg remains in control as his riding time now over a half a minute.
Yeah, this is the tough riding that we've always talked about here. The short changes, the exchanges that you have, 10, 15 seconds. Make it easy for yourself here. Grab that riding time, get out quickly yourself. Another way of winning a match. Looking at Gadali in the start right now.
Men's basketball coming up 9:10 Eastern, the tip in Minneapolis with Minnesota and Northwestern. We will take you there following the conclusion of these matches here at 285 as we put a wrap on the championship semifinals. Championship finals tomorrow here on the Big Ten Network, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central Time. What a great day of wrestling here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. It has been a blast. So fun.
Impressive ride by Gadali in this situation, staying with him. Both these guys in the top position. AJ Ferrari, now Gadali following the hips right there. 47 seconds of riding time here for Ferrari. Dropping back in on that leg.
Good mat return to take riding time over 60 seconds there by Gadali on the edge.
And right over 1 minute right now is Ferrari. So, you want to try to get at least 20 or 30 more seconds. That gives you a full 20, 30 seconds to get out and, maintain your riding time.
Ferrari trying to knock off Feldman for the first time this season in 3 tries.
When you got big men that can ride like this, that's
problems
really
for the opposition.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about a couple of weeks in Cleveland, how important that's going to be and what we're going to say about it. We're going to say it's the ride.
At the escape from Marisola, Zackin on the leg. He's got it elevated. Trying to run the pipe.
Seconds. You see again that power from Gadali, pressuring back in with his hips. Down to 10 seconds, Gadali scoops up that near ankle. Here's that scrambling ability from Marisola. Good effort there from the young Nittany Lion. But the veteran Wolverine prevails with the riding time point 5-2. Gadali into the Big Ten Finals, representing the maize and blue.
There's the escape there by Feldman. 1:19 of riding time. So 34 seconds left in this match. 1-0 lead.
Slow walk from Ferrari back to the center. Here we go. Half a minute, second period.
Not expecting this to look like anything we're going to get out of Ferrari as far as his offense goes. He's going to try to take a little bit of a blow here because he knows his opportunity is going to be in the bottom position here in the third period.
Scores table tells us no stall calls for either wrestler. Ferrari down to a knee in the final seconds, and he will go on bottom. And remember this, Jim, in that dual meet against Indiana? Kind of a similar situation. Ferrari purposefully cautioned. And what that did...
Stall warning. He got a stall warning.
He
came late back to the center of the mat when he was going with 7 seconds left. He came late back to the center of the mat to try to get the bonus points for his team.
Gave himself a little extra juice. That's what it was.
Took the stall warning. I thought it was a great move at the time. There's the quick escape.
1-1, each guy with an escape, but Ferrari with that riding time at 1:17. That was a pretty crafty move there by Ferrari in that dual meet.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Feldman, he likes to go to that high single leg and work off that left-handed underhook. He'll use that left-handed underhook. He'll come off the single leg and kind of shrug him by. You've got to think for sure that they have spent some time figuring out tendencies for Feldman.
Gadali awaits. Collar tie there from Feldman. 60 seconds to go here in regulation. Ferrari with that riding time at 1:17 as he circles back in center of the mat.
Staying inside the logo.
And Feldman has that ability to go low, head out, head in for a single. Really finds that angle well, but he has not been able to find it tonight.
Yeah, the right hand of Ferrari here. See how he's planting it down on his thigh right there? That's trying to keep him off of that single leg there. Not gonna react to it. Put his hand on the mats. Moved his feet really well.
Down to 20 seconds. Riding has been the difference. Straight on shot there from Feldman. Ferrari drifts to the edge of the mat. That'll be a stall call on the Cornhusker. But A.J. Ferrari has solved the Nick Feldman puzzle for the first time this season. It is A.J. Ferrari who will get his arm raised. Ferrari over Feldman. And that sets up a Big Ten final at 285 with the top two seeds, Takedowns of Michigan and the Cornhusker, A.J. Ferrari. Cliff Keen, outstanding wrestler. Another Cornhusker at 174 pounds, avenging an earlier season loss to Patrick Kennedy. Christopher Minto, a 5-1 decision to now.